Hi everyone, I know this is a kind of unexpected video and I am kind of all over the place at the moment and all kinds of different things are going on. Anyways, I've got this message from some guy who was watching one of my videos and he wanted me to debate him about what the real world is. Well, he didn't want to debate me, we had a discussion and then it led into this debate about where the origin of the universe comes from. And he said some interesting things and stuff that, I wasn't that he clarified things that I've heard, and and I'm willing to respect what he has to say. It does sound kind of real and straightforward. I think he's just misunderstanding what I'm talking about, and I think a lot of people are misunderstanding what I'm talking about. Look, black radiant energy, okay, the absorption of light, which is actually the absorption of the same thing. Apart from that, photons are a accumulation, as is evident by it being photonic and also maybe even white. Although you can have photons that are different colors, which might tell you something that, wait a minute, if you can have different colored photons, then clearly photons must be more complicated, but very similar to what made it, right? What made photons was something more simpler. So what is the most simplest thing you can possibly think of? Well, apparently when things have white, they are oscillating all colors. But if they are black, they're not. But some people might disagree and say that black is doing all the colors. I personally think that black doesn't have all the colors, but I've heard from my dad telling me that black does have all the colors. But I haven't seen the evidence for that directly, and I it doesn't sound correct to me. But so if black is the absorption of photons, then then what is black? Black is zero. Not zero. It's one. It's just always one. It's always just the minimal amount of oscillation. Okay, and then as it's diversifying and going in different directions, it's going to get a configuration. Okay, and this is happening billions and billions of years ago, before subatomic or before subatomic particles. Okay, these black radiant energy, right, are moving about in the sea of nothing. Like, there's not even a sea of nothing, they are just moving. There is no thing behind it. The entire universe is this thing. Okay, so they're going into different configurations and then they start oscillating. Okay, even more because they're moving up and down. Okay, and then as they're oscillating more up and down, they're getting different configurations, and these configurations can be called a function. Now, if you have the same function going in one direction, which it will do, then it's going to hit another function and another function, and it's going to build up into this subatomic particle. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, there is no this bullshit about the theory of color doesn't really make that much of a difference in this theory. The only difference that makes is that has color is oscillating. It's like there's just different kinds of oscillating. It doesn't matter if it absorbs or it it does whatever. The same theory, the theory works. If if everything is simplified, it goes straight to black radiant energy diversification, or even just black radiant. Well, no, it has to be diversifying. So yeah, go ahead, simplify everything in the universe, and you will come to and do it realistically and logically and rationally, and you will come to the conclusion that it is black radiant energy diversification. It's not kinetic energy. It's not fucking heat. These are things that come from the functionality of the diversification. So you have all these different functions diversifying, and then they become a magnetic function, okay, or a kinetic function. It doesn't really matter. The point, there's, you can't disprove it because it's the most simplest thing. You, I just don't know how to say it even more. I don't know how to say it anymore. A photon is more complex than the thing that's made it. The thing that made it was black. Okay, photons are oscillating. I dare you to go test it out. Every photon is oscillating excessively. And the only difference is that it's got it can be red, it can be blue, whatever, depending on where it's position, it's how fast it's going. That's because it's oscillating. So if something oscillating really fast, that oscillation is going to get affected by all the other oscillation that's happening, all the functions around it. And if all the functions are a certain way, because you're going in this direction, and then because you're going in a different direction, they get turned a different direction, then you're going to get a different oscillation and hence a different color. Now that might not be true. Some people might not believe that that is the true case, but that does sound kind of logical, right? If you have photons going in one direction and they're oscillating, and there's loads of all the other functions around it because everything's all part of one thing, black radiant energy oscillation diversification, then it's around me right now. Like, there is literally black radiant energy diversification around me right now. Actually, there isn't. Well, there is actually, because there's black here, you know, black around. There's black around. It's just there's not a lot of it because there's stuff that's already oscillating. There's photons coming in this room right now from the sun, bouncing all around from the light there. They're all bouncing the fuck around and they're causing all these different colors. But as soon as I turn off the light, you know, I turn off the lights and what do you know? It's all black, or mostly black, apart from the photons coming from the sun and any other light source outside or around here that I don't know about. And the webcam, the blue webcam, and the little photons coming from my keyboard and mouse and whatever. This all black. If I turned off all the lights and the sun, it would all be black. Everything in the solar system would be black, apart from anything that has photons on it. So if I just took all away the photons, everything would be black. So why is that? Why is that? Someone tell me why everything in the universe, if you turn out the sun, is black, or any kind of photonic source, it's black. And that why is space, the thing that you float around, black? And why is it that one of the English astronomer, that new English astronomer that went into space, Tim, whatever his name is, was saying that it's so black up there? And why is it so common? I wonder. That's because it's obviously what makes the universe. And you might go, well, how does that make it mean the universe? Just because it's so common. Oh, I don't know. Let's have a think about that. Because if you turn off all the lights, everything's black. So obviously everything must be made out of it. It's just that because I've got a fucking light on, you're getting a different oscillation because of the different materials and the different functions that have diversified over the billions of years, that you have different oscillations. So it has these colors. These colors are so fucking primitive. It's unbelievable how primitive these colors are. These colors are like, this is the closest you're going to get to the beginning of the universe. These colors, this color, this black, this grey, black, everything. This is the most primitive thing. It's color. It's the most primitive thing. And it's all around us, right in front of you. Wherever you look, it's right there. And if you can't see that, if you think I'm talking bullshit, then I urge you to simplify the universe and keep doing it until you can't go any further. And you will come to the same conclusion I did. Fuck you if you don't. It's not kinetic, it's not heat, it's not electricity, it's not chemical. And this bullshit about, oh, it didn't happen before the Big Bang. Photons weren't here. Of course photons weren't here before the Big Bang. They are more complex. So obviously something had to make them, and I'm telling you, it's black radiant energy. Okay? Radiant energy is not photonic. Photons is an evolved radiant energy. Black radiant energy is a simplified, a primitive, the most rawest primitive thing in the universe is that. So go ahead, get your scientists, do all your little formulas and come to some different conclusion. Because I'm telling you, the string theory is not as accurate as it could be. First of all, it's not a web, okay? It's a fucking straight oscillating field of diversification, and then it diversifies into a 360 degrees, okay? So it's, and I wouldn't even say, it may even just be a straight line, in the sense that the whole area is here, everything's diversifying in this area, but it's not going out of a limit, but it is expanding out. So, but that's because there's a lot of radiant energy. So I don't know, I think it's like a cone that goes out like this. I don't think it's a web. The 360 degrees can happen within this funnel shape. And that's what I'm saying. I think it's a funnel shape, not a web shape. So yeah, fuck Mikio, whatever his wanky name is. Fuck Einstein. Fuck Isaac Newton for believing in a god. Fucking retard. So yeah, this is bullshit. All this bollocks I get from people where they just don't know anything. I don't need to know all this shit to figure out what the most simplest thing is. That's the thing that people need to understand. You don't need shit tons of research. I mean, really, you just need to know, like, you know, where's color coming from. Okay, so you need to figure out how color works, you know, and you need to figure out what are we made out of? Cells. What are those made out of? Molecules. What are those made out of? Atoms. What are those made out of? Subatomic. Once you figure these things out, it's really simple to go straight through it and go, okay, we'll keep simplifying, keep simplifying. You actually, to be honest, you don't really need, I don't think you may not even need experiments. You could just look at the sun or the star, or look at which is the sun, look at lightning or heat, and you can sort of simplify it down maybe through that. If you're really smart, maybe that's too difficult, but I still think that's possible. So you don't actually need lots of tools. You just need a sort of logical decision-making process. Oh gosh. So when I say radiant energy, I'm not talking about photons. That's an evolved diversification of it. Anyways, there you go. So there's my theory of everything. Okay, basically, it's not fully complete. It doesn't need to have every fucking thing noted in it. Okay, it doesn't. Okay, subatomic particles come from black radiant energy diversification. And we don't have to, we already know where subatomic's going, right? Atomic, okay, so we already know, we've already established that. Atomic goes to molecules, they go to cells, and then they go to fucking human animals, or which are basically like a complex cell, and then they go into imagination, and then their imagination goes into more imagination, and then it becomes a being, a creature made out of imagination. And then after that, it goes into the next thing. The building of imagination makes this new kind of imagination that's 10 times more evolved and 10 times billions times better than what we have, and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going until you're so complex you're literally a representation of the universe, which we'll never get to because we'll kill ourselves or something will get reset before then. We're trying to be as close to a universe as possible. That's what everything's trying to do. Everything's trying to be a universe. If you don't believe me, then where does this come from? It seems very similar. It has a start point, a middle point, an end point, and they all loop. It doesn't matter how broken, burnt, or fucked up it is, it always seems to do the same thing. The same, you know, start, end, middle, reset, you know, kind of thing. There's a start, there's a reset, start, middle, end, reset, start again. You can't have loops in any program without a loop in the universe. So obviously the universe loops. Anyways, I'm going to end this video now. So there you go. There's my thinking of the origin of the universe is. This was supposed to be well. This is not really a professional video. This is more like a video response to that Kenneth guy. So it doesn't have to be exactly professional, if you can even hear. So yeah, hopefully it answers this question. Someone's at the door, so that's good timing. So I'm just going to answer the door actually. Yes, again. So, yeah. Sorry.
No, I don't need a signature.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye.
I think it's white that's all the colours, because Isaac Newton did an experiment with prisms and he got the colours of all the colour spectrum in there. So I think you're wrong about it being black. All the colours, I believe it's white, but you might be wrong. Or it might be just reversed or something. Anyways. Bye everyone. Yeah, please comment, like, subscribe if you want. No obligation, of course.